I happen to be a metal music fan. I'm also the occasional horror movie fan. I mean, I'm admittedly more of a thriller guy, but I do find scary films and something of a more foreboding, ominous presentation to be a bit irresistible, so automatically Patient Zero has some connections to my interest, at least 2 points, and not to overlook it as only be a third with the Napalm Records regard. I've been covering a good helping of their groups and being introduced over the last couple of months, if not years, in fact, so, or year, actually. So I see some real achievement here on pitch with DOMINUM on First Entertainment, and I would describe just in summation to getting a brief introduction of understanding to this group that metal and horror aspect is a bit of it's a melding here. To create something rather fresh, I've not yet entertained their work. Maybe some of you have, and maybe some of you haven't as well, and this is your initiate listen. You know, I've said many times, music is, I think, better enjoyed corporately, however we approach. It enriches the process beyond just witnessing it in isolation and introducing ourselves. So I'm looking forward to humoring DOMINUM as a fresh entrance, and I've also said many times, there is a respect I have for emerging artists, broadly speaking, even on over international waters. DOMINUM automatically has piqued my interest, and I hope maybe the same phenomenon is being experienced with you. Let's entertain, for the first time perhaps, DOMINUM together with Patient Zero and the visualizer that accompanied. I'm looking forward to being introduced. It's a bit darker in the metal landscape. Let's see which direction it goes.
There's no one left, not one misbeliever. Close to midnight, the tide is high.
I like the raspiness on the vocals.
The horse is running wild, seems to know better. Close to midnight.
If I remember right, I learned about this in association to oh, I really like this. In association to D'Artagnan, I hear a bit of a folk pattern. I'm liking this. Those chorus sections are extremely well developed. Heightened. Oh my gosh. That gothic tone on the verse structure, really good. Really good fit. The build-up to those chorus sections, incredibly satisfactory. So good. I'm loving this first entrance. Again, I went in with just a limited amount of information, but real dynamic first footing here. Some different atmospheres of metal being interwoven, at least from what I've experienced, and I'm really liking this introduction. With the fresh cinematic horror tone, I love that. It's so different. Oh, the build up again. Here we go. The choices on this number, I'm loving it. Every time the chorus comes up, it's such a good paving. Oh. I love first introductions for a reason. Oh my gosh. That was great. Ooh, I love the feel of that number. different strikes in the metal world, at least in my opinion. There's a... That's actually really funny. So I'm looking at this off of Napalm Records. Normally on their outro, on their channel where they post these, the visualizers, they have these little outros for, you should look at these other artists. Feuerschwangs is someone they recommend. Not a surprise. Feuerschwangs folk metal, if you've never entertained them before, and I do recommend them as well. As I said on Origin of this number, I get a distinct folk feel with, I know it's played around with, it does mimic again a bit of a horror atmosphere and it creates that ambiance, but it's so reminiscent of a folk energy, at least for me. From what I've heard between, let's say, D'Artagnan or Feuerschwangs, it comes up, and it's expressed differently here. This is so fresh though. Oh my gosh, I love it. So again, it's a hybrid tone, at least on experience, between folk, familiarity, and gothic. It's more like modernized horror, in my opinion. Maybe some of the other pieces I listen to along the gothic lines feel a bit more ancient. This feels fresh. It feels new. In particular, maybe because zombie... I'm looking at particular trends within the horror cinematic landscape, and zombies are quite dominant right now, and this does connect, at least in some respects. A bit like... I'd say I kind of get like Walking Dead, Overlord vibes from this, at least on presentation. It's incredibly endearing. I love the focus of it. I mean, again, it's more like a hybrid between, you know, general story and performance, but it's a great first entrance. On music, though, oh my gosh. It's a robust construction. The vocals work for me. The rasp snarl in the beginning, kind of that effect in the background, mixed with those whispers going into the chorus section, at least on a couple of them. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And the final one works. Those transitions feeding in the repeat as well in the chorus, which is structured beautifully. Those layered vocals and how forceful it gets on the second measure with the accompanying voices. It's such a beautiful choice. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Hard hit of a number on first entrance, and as they note, I think it was on their website where I found this. No, it was a comment on the original Napalm Records posting. Living people, please welcome the first in line, Patient Zero. First in line, I welcome more, and I'm looking forward to hopefully more developments from Dominum. That is beautiful. That is a great first introduction. That's what I hope for. Dynamic entrances, and oh, you get that. Costumes and everything. But it's great. Oh man, you know, I'm thinking back to past excursions I've taken on the European rock and metal lines, and as I've said many times, it has never disappointed me. Whether it's a fresh introduction, really fresh, and the fact that I get to most European groups based on viewer recommendation, and I'm usually really late to the party. With Dominum, I'm not. They are... How late did this one come out? How behind am I in covering this? August 31st, 2023. Oh, I'm like less than a month from when it debuted. Wow. Again, a little more caught up than I usually am. What a welcome introduction. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait for more from Dominum. Patient Zero is a beautiful first entrance. My gosh. Different types of energies played around, again, like I said, with the rock. I get power metal, heavy metal, gothic metal. There's a nice intrusion here. It's just such a good, oh my gosh. Even, again, like I said, the folk stimulation. It's just an effect that feels so reminiscent to me. Maybe I've just been listening to too much D'Artagnan lately. That's probably part of it. Probably some motivation for much of the reason I'm seeing a connection, but I just hear it with the music. Just the dynamic work. Loved that. And imagine probably many of you, I don't like to get into the habit of speaking for anybody, but I would imagine there may be a general concurrence on first entrance. And I welcome everybody, by the way. Knowledgeable Dominum listeners that you've advanced me since the August 31st debut of Patient Zero. Or maybe some of you who are taking initiate listens with this group, and I would imagine maybe some of you are. I really like that piece. I cannot wait to experience more, especially on the horror lines. That's particularly fresh of European artists. I've not humored that yet, at least not other than the gothic side. Not as deliberately, though, in terms of like modern cinematic horror execution. I can't wait for more offerings. I'd love to hear if you wish to supply your opinion, of course, what you thought of Dominum's, our first entrance to it with Patient Zero. I think is a dynamic work. Tantalizing lead into what I hope for we get more of. We'll see. But open door policy here. You know, I'm ready and willing to experience more alongside you. First entrance into Dominum is, that's great. I loved it. Beautiful piece. Yeah, this is a testament to anything in the European rock metal line, but oh man, that is a bedazzling number. Loved it. Every second of it. And that construction to me is just, the chorus specifically, God, I come away from it just total reverence. I love it. I love it. Patient Zero is a great listen for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.